Hello, it's Karis. Welcome to this video. Today I'm going to be showing you three important elements in a good design. Three important elements. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and list the elements in order of importance. Number one, image or shapes. Number two, text. Number three, background. In order of importance, before you start your design, you want to consider what images or shapes am I using, if I'm using any. Then you want to consider the text you're going to use. Then finally you want to consider the kind of background you want to use. So there are no hard and fast rules. It mustn't always be like this. Everybody has different design thinking process.
Simple approach.
I'm suggesting this is suggestive because it's going to make it easy to have a very for a newbie, for a total beginner. So first you consider the image or shapes you want to use, if you're going to use any. The next is text. Which text am I going to use? Then your background. So we'll just go ahead and take a very good example. I'll just go ahead and add these elements to illustrate what I'm talking about. So if you want to add an image to your design, now always find out first if you're going to use a logo in your design. If you're going to use your logo in your design, I advise you add the logo up first because of your colors. If you're doing a design for a brand, you want to pick colors from the logo in so that the design can be properly branded. Otherwise, just ask if the brand has specific colors so that your every design can be consistent with the brand's colors. Otherwise, you can use your discretion to pick the colors for your design. So first, I want to add my image. So I've selected this image for my design, and I picked this image because of the colors on the image. So they are closer to the brand colors that I have in mind. So I prefer having limited amount of colors in my design. So I'll just go ahead and add that. I'll scale it up a little bit. So having added my image, you can't just place an image anywhere, just anywhere on your canvas. Where you place your image has to be intentional. You have to have some considerations in placing your image. So in this video later on, I'm going to show you some simple rules or techniques in placing your image in deciding your layout. So you can't just place your image anywhere. You have to be intentional. Am I placing it in the middle? Am I placing it on the left hand side? Am I placing it on the right hand side? Am I placing it down in the middle? You see, so wherever I place it, I can have a very good design out of it. Okay, so then I'll go ahead and add the logo, so I can pick colors from there and use it to decide the colors of the other elements. Alright, so I'm adding the logo. As you can see, it's without a background, as should be logos. Then I click good. Now I've not decided where I'm going to place this yet, but I'm just going to hide it with this eye icon. Yes, you can hide something that's on your canvas it can be there but be hidden. So with this icon here, you can click on it, hide what you want to hide. Every input, every element has it. All right, so I use it often. If I'm not using it immediately but I want it on my canvas, I just put it there and I hide it. So I can hide the image I've used. Is an illustration and unhide. Great. So the logo is there but it's hidden. I'll tell you why I have to put it there for now. Then I want to add a text. Now where I put my text is going to be dependent on where I've put my image. So you don't just place your text randomly, be intentional. That's why some people sketch before they start designing. Yes, you can do that. You can sketch on a paper so you have an idea what you want to do. I'll go ahead and add a text. And it comes in as new text and with the default color. So I'm just going to go ahead and write what I want to write. Okay, there I've added the text. Now I'm going to change the appearance of the text to suit what my design is going to be. Now before that, I'm just going to add all the text I want to use, at least the major text. So you should have your copy written out ahead of the design. This is what I want to write. These are the things I want to write. So you go ahead and add all of them so you can now have a general idea of the arrangement. So I'm going to add the next text I'm going to use. All right, so I've added the second text I want to use. Now at this point, I'll show you a little bit about layout. Now your layout of your design is how you arrange your design, how you the arrangement of your design with respect to the elements in it. So it means where are you putting your image, where are you putting your text. That's what your layout is like. So I'll just give you two examples of a layout that you can try and that you can use very easily or very quickly. First example of a layout is a very simple left and right layout. What does that mean? It means you can decide, I'll just unlock this guy in a minute. You can decide, oh, my images will be, or my image will be on the left and all my text will be on the right. So I'm going to edit this text in a moment. So before I get to that, I just want to show you. So that will now determine how you're going to, work on your text. See, but this is your layout. So if I look at your design, there's an arrangement, there's organization in your design. It's more important to have an organized design than to have a busy design. It's not about how many things you have on your design. It's about how organized your design is. So, and as well, you can also flip it. You can have your text on the left and your image on the right. If you're using this arrangement, you can, for your text, you can either use, remember I told you about alignment, very important. You can either use this left alignment because your text is on the left, or you can use the middle alignment. You see, but whatever alignment you use, it has to be consistent throughout your design. So you can have middle alignments for all your text. Okay, but do not use right alignment on the left. It's going to look funny, it won't look good. All right, so for this design, then conversely, if you want to use the text on the right hand side, of course you can use right alignment. So it depends on where your text is. So these are the things you're looking out for as a designer. Where's my text? What alignment am I using if I'm putting my text here? What my alignment is wrong? So on the right, you see the alignment looks a lot better, although I'll suggest you still go with your middle alignment. Looks more much neater. So this is what you put into your design project as a designer. So that's for left and right layout. And also as well, you can decide, I don't want it on the left or on the right. I want the image on the middle. I want the image in the middle. Then in that case, your text can't be on the just on the left or on the right anymore. You have to make use of the space that you have. So your text likely is going to come up. Your major text is going to come up. So, and it can't be up here like this. It's not looking very good. It's conflicting with your image. There's still a lot of space. Space management is very important as a designer. So there's still a lot of space here and here. So what a smart designer wants to do is to elongate. So what a smart designer wants to do is to straighten up your text. Maybe you can use 2 lines, or you can use 1 line. However it appeals to you. You can use 1 line. So you can now use a bold font, increase the font, edit the text appropriately. I'm just showing you instances. We're not through yet. So then you can reduce the size of this secondary text and place it somewhere on the left or on the right, since you have that space available to you. Okay, so that's another way you can use the layout. So there are different layouts you can use. So when you look at other designs, you can adopt their layout. You can identify what layout they're using and adopt it and know how you can use it. All right, but have a layout in mind. Don't just scatter your design. Don't just put anything anywhere. Don't just put your image, put it hanging somewhere here, then you put your text just anywhere. No, that's that's not what you do. So for the purpose of this illustration, I'm going to use the text on the image on the left hand. Then so having added, these are the major texts I'm going to be using in this design. Then what next I want to determine is the color of the text and the color of the background. Now I have 2 options or 3 options from the colors I have. Like I said, I have blue. I can use white. That's one color. That's one option. I could use white. Then I can use blue, or I can use yellow, depending on what I want. Like I said, I'm talking about the specific brand colors that I already have. So for this course, I want to just start out with white first. It's always safer to start out with white, especially when you're beginning. You don't want to throw in too many colors everywhere yet. So I want to limit the color usage as much as possible. So I'll start out with white in the background. So if the background is white, the text definitely cannot be white. The text shouldn't be yellow, because yellow is a bright color and it will not be very visible on white. So my next best bet is to use the blue. So instead of just going to color and just trying to select some blue here, how do I know the blue is exactly the blue that I want to use? So I'll use the eyedropper tool. Now the eyedropper tool, these are all the images on my canvas. So I can select a color from any image. Observe how this color preview changes as I move my slider around the images. So it keeps changing, and if I go to a place where there's no color, it previews no color. So I can select any color I require or desire. So but because I'm using this logo, this is the reason why I added the logo. So although you can't see it on the canvas, but the color interface can tell that that image is in the project, so I can still select colors from here. So I prefer to use the exact blue on this logo for my text. So I click good and then I click on OK. Great. So now I have that color set up. The next thing I want to determine is my font, because this is the major text. So I don't want it to have a normal font. I want it to be the first text they see when they look at my design. So when people look at your design, they first see your image, then they see your text, then they see your background or any other detail. So in your text, if you have several texts written, you can determine what they see first before they see, because human beings read from left to right. In English, most human beings, I mean some Arabic people read from right to left. So but most people read from left to right and from up to down. So whatever, if your alignment is left alignment, or you have just text written, whatever is on the left is what they'll start with first before they read what's on the right. So if I had this in the middle and I had two text on the side, they'll read the left first before the right. So I want to put the major text on the left, the header on the left, before whatever I'm putting on the right. So if I put it this other way, it will read differently, you see. So be careful where you put your text. Then so that's from left to right and from up to down. So in the case of this arrangement as we're using, whatever is up is what is going to be read first. Then you can further accent it, you can further make it more pronounced by using a better font, a more obvious font. So you just browse your fonts, your font styles, several font styles you have. So I choose this font style. Yeah, looking nice. So I'll just have this font style for this. Good. Then I'll do the same for this, the color of this next text I'm having over here. The color is already in the preview because I've used this color before. The color is shown in my preview. The colors you used earlier, they usually show here, so you can just use them without having to go reselect them again. So I just select that color and click on OK. So that color is over there. All right, so having added those, I'll pause that for the meantime. Since design is progressive, you can start out with an intention in mind. So when you finish everything, when you look at it, then you can know, okay, maybe I should change this, maybe I should change that. All right, now as you can see, this image is not a complete image. The image has been cropped, so I can't leave this image hanging like this. It will look awkward. This lower area is going to look awkward. So I'm going to deliberately add a shape to my design so that I can use it to make that defect in the picture not so obvious. So what do? I can add a shapes over here. Good. So I'm just going to stretch out this shape to cover the length of the canvas. Then I'm going to choose a color for my shape, color, and I'm going to pick a color from my logo. I'm picking yellow this time. I've used the blue, so I'll just pick the yellow. Then I'll just take this over here. Good. Then I'll click on OK, and let's see how it's turning out. Now I like the way it's looking, but I want to, there's too much space at the bottom. I can move, I want to move, now you can learn a little from this. I want to move the image and the shape at the same time. I want to move this image I've just inputted and the shape at the same time. So how do I move? Because how do I move this image and this shape at the same time to whatever direction I want to move? I'll show you in a bit. So when I click on my layers panel, I select the shape. This is the shape here, and I look for the image. That's the image. Then I go below here. I click on this icon. When I click on that icon, it shows me different familiar icons. You must have seen these on your edit tab earlier on. So this move tool, I can use this move tool over here. Let me show you what that is. This move tool over here, if I select it, it will move the selected objects in the direction that I want to move. Okay, the object I've selected only, so I can move as many objects as I've selected at the same time. So it's, I'm just going to go ahead and just click that. Then I can decide how fast it moves over here. So but I just need to move a little, so this is good. So I'm just going to go down. I'm going to move it down. That's okay. Just a little bit more. Better. Now, why did I move it down? Because you want to be careful about having a centralized image. I'm trying to make the space above her head to be somewhat equal to the space below her body. Okay, so that it gives a better visual appeal. Okay, those are little things that matter when it comes to doing a design. So now take note that every image may not be the same, exactly the same. So you consider what you're using, the image you're using, and how you're going to use it even better. So you see that our design is taking better shape. Now I see a space where I'm going to add my logo. Okay, I'm going to have to add my logo at the top. So my logo is already here. All I have to do is make it more visible and unlock it so I can move it around. Okay, so that's my logo. So I'm going to reduce the size of this logo a little bit and put it up somewhere here. Good. Then I'm going to create some more space. I'd like to move this text and move them down a little bit. Move this down here, move this down here. Okay, and move this over here. Great. So now I could add my social media handles on this space over here. So when I have a tiny text like this, I advise you don't use your fingers to move it on the canvas, because you can mistakenly move. It's difficult to move, you find that. So what you can do better is you can use the position icon. This is the position icon. This one is written there, position. So you can use that to move your text in whatever direction you want to move. So when you want to move a tiny object on your canvas, it's best you use that. right. I think that'll do it, and I'll move it a little bit. Then I'm going to add my logos, social media logos. So it's important you have them arranged properly. So here I've added social media icons. You can either download the images from the internet, or you can use a font that is an icon font. So the name of this icon font is Social Media Circles. Social Media Circles. It's a font. That's what I prefer to use. So I'm just going to reduce the size of this guy. It's too big. That seems better. Then I'm going to move it. There, looking better. Then finally I'm going to add my website. Okay, so I can add the website over here and the contact information, phone number. So again, I'll change the color, then I'll reduce the size. I'll change font as well. And try to avoid using more than 3 fonts in your design. Resist the urge to use more than 3 fonts, 3 different fonts in your design. If you can use just 2, that would be great. Except it's absolutely necessary before you can use more than 3 fonts. I'll drop the size a little bit more. Seems a lot better. Then since these two texts are in the same text box, I can align it. I prefer to align it centrally. So I've aligned it centrally. It'll be more visually appealing. Then the spacing. See, this tool here can help you. This tool here can help you adjust the spacing of your text. So I'll click on it. I can space letters. I can space words. So I want to space letters now. So if I increase it, the space in between the letters increases as well. So I can increase it a little bit more. All right. Now I'm going to add social media icons, contact icons to so I'll just add my icons here. Now finally, it's important you pay attention to the arrangement of your text. Now all these texts that are here have to be aligned with each other. There has to be a vertical alignment in between these texts. Okay, so don't just leave your text hanging, your image, your items hanging like this. They're just anywhere like this. No, you have to arrange them properly. So an easy way to do it is you can use the relative position button. So you select all of them one after the other and move them to the vertical center like this. So the logo is selected, this relative position, vertical center. Then I select the next text, go to text editing, relative position, vertical center. Next text, vertical center. Then because this text, the social media icons are two text, I'm going to select both of them at the same time. There they are. I'll click on this tick box here, this icon. Click on it so I can select two elements at the same time. Then I'll also as well click on this icon over here. Once I click on it, so I click on the relative position over here, and I'm able to move them to the vertical center. Now we've achieved that all of them are aligned. Now all of them are aligned. Okay, then I can move all of them like that to where they're supposed to be. So how do I do that? I can select, using the select tool, I can select several elements of my design and I can move all of them at the same time. Great. So now it's looking much more presentable. Okay, so that's how you determine your layout for your design and what you want it to look like. It's a good place to start because it's more important your design is organized than it is busy. The best designs are the simplest of designs, really. If you've gained value from this video, don't forget to like and reshare, and don't also forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on the post notification so that you get to be notified once we release a new video. Thank you.